Canadian waters are very cold when you first get in.
It's 78 degrees.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, it feels very cold when you first get in, and but then you just get used to it. I just went slow and got used to it as I went out.
It's
But
actually
now
warm.
Now it feels.
And that's what I'm saying. Once you get in, it warms up.
It doesn't feel Gulf of Mexico warm.
No.
But it's not cold now at all.
Here we are at Franklin Lock, and the main Trenton River is over there past these campers, and we're in the current free channel that goes from lock to lock that runs along the side of the river, and it is beautiful here. So today's Friday, tomorrow is Canada Day, which I think is like their 4th of July. So upstream here, there's going to be a bunch of Canadian Day celebrations at the larger towns. But for us here in this very small little town here, there's not much going on, which is why we're here, because we don't want to get into all the jet skis and the power boats and everything. We want a nice quiet weekend. And you can see there's several boats here: Idaho Red and Riker and No Agenda and us, and a pontoon boat here parked right past the lock. And it is a gorgeous day, nice weather, little breeze. Just got through swimming, and we're all having a big cookout tonight. Hot dogs and hamburgers, all the boats here. This is the turnstile crank that they use to grab the yellows and walk around in a circle, and that's what opens the doors or lifts the bridge, whatever it is. Everything is mechanical. And here's the little bridge across the locked doors. And this is the lock, just one lock here, and this is pointing downstream towards Trenton. We went through I think 8 locks yesterday getting here. This is the last one. And there's the building with the restrooms, and they have a little office in there for the lock campers, I guess. I don't know what they're called. The employees at Parks Canada. They're very nice. And you walk across the bridge over to this side, and this is the split where one side opens, and where they split when they open the doors. And there's the depth. It's not even 5 foot, I don't think. It's pretty shallow. They say they guarantee 8 feet, but I don't think it's true. We're back. And this is the turnstile crank for that side of the bridge. And we're back to the boat.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now I have to do it alone. They're gonna help me. I'm working on the railroad. Oh my God.
Katya's taking off.
Katya had an energy drink. I just had a drink.
Oh, don't point it at me, point it at the thing. I don't know what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
I'm videotaping you. Okay, Finn's flying the... He's been faking like he didn't know how to do it, but he's better than me.
Looking at you. That's what I'm trying to judge with. We'll have to go back for another.
Well, I was just kind of goofing around practicing flying the drone. I thought I'd put some footage here of the river. So that's upstream. And this is the little city of Frankfurt, which had some nice restaurants and stuff in it. It was a cute little town again. And then it's going to turn to the left here, and you'll see upstream, maybe downstream towards Trenton, and then back over to the park, and you could see the boat behind that RV over there. And then I'm still practicing landing it, and I'm too scared to fly it off the boat yet. And then we had gone swimming, and I wanted to see what the GoPro looked like shooting from underwater, and it makes a pretty good picture. The water was cool, like Laura said, and but it was very rocky bottom, and I was hoping to capture some minnows or something on film just to see how they look, but there's not a lot of fish in these Canadian waters. There's a few brim around, but where we were, there were no minnows or fish or anything, and it was moving pretty quickly.
So we left the Frankfurt Lock Wall this morning, 8 o'clock, straight up. And we are headed on our day's journey. So our first day that we were on the Trent-Severn, it was really just getting around Trenton. And now we're past that, and past that town. And Quinte West, I think, was the other town. And so now we're in this really pretty area. We see some mountains or hills, I guess, in the distance there, and we see people's, I wonder if this is what they call the cottage region. They talk about that there's a cottage region that people in Canada have their cottages. There's a lot of smaller homes we've seen on the water, so that's why I was thinking that. It's a really pretty day. So I feel like we're in an area where there's a lot of cottages. So in Canada, people have, this is what I've been told by Canadians, they have their houses and then they have their cottage. And these look like weekend cottages that are just adorable. And there's all kinds of floaties out in the water. This is a small lake maybe? Maybe it's just a wide, I think it's a small lake. And there's all kinds of water activities happening. There's a jumpy thing here in the water. There was a big unicorn floaty a minute ago, huge. It's right here on the water and this mountain behind them. It's just, what a wonderful place to be. So the locks so far on the Trent-Severn are only making us tie to the starboard side, which actually is my favorite. We like tying on the starboard side. And the reason we like tying on starboard side is because Chris is able to get from the helm off to the side of the boat very easily on the starboard. On the port, he'd have to run across the back. And we're having to grab cables, so it's much quicker for him to do it on the starboard side than it is on the port side. But because they're making everybody be on the starboard side, they're only allowing 2 of our boats to go through at a time. And the same thing happened the previous time that we came, the previous locks. So they said all the way through lock 13, they're all going to be starboard ties. So they're only allowing 2 boats of our size to go through. While we were in Frankfurt, we met Idaho Red, although I think I met them at in Trenton. They were right by us at Trenton Marina, and they ended up staying the same amount of time with us at Frankfurt Lock, and so the 2 of us are traveling together. No Agenda and Riker are ahead of us. They locked through first, and so they're ahead of us by at least, I don't know, at least 20 minutes, if not longer. And then Idaho Red and us are going to follow up. So we are just having a great day. Beautiful day in Canada. Some of the channels we've been going through are really narrow, and then they open up into these little wider areas, almost small lakes, and the views here, the landscape is just getting so pretty.
We just came through the Hastings Lock. We did 6 locks today from Campbellford. We went about 25 miles maybe. And it's a nice little setup here. There's a marina just right across over there. We're on the wall here. Us and No Escape and No Agenda, or Escape and No Agenda and Riker up there. And there's a liquor store here, a restaurants, and convenience store. We just went and got ice at the beer store, and you can see the marina over there. And tomorrow I guess we're going to Petersboro. We're all here. There's no electricity, there's no water, but there's a little swimming area up there in front of Riker, so we may go swimming after dinner. And there's where we'll head out tomorrow, down this little body of water. And then the town is right here. Bathrooms are up at the lock, which is right there. And there's the boat, looking good because we washed her yesterday. Let's see what happens after dinner.
We're getting into a routine where we're traveling every day during the week and then staying put on the weekend. And so the locks open at 9 o'clock. So it depends on how far away we are from the next lock as to what time we get up. So some mornings we get up early and we see the sunrise, and some days we get to sleep a little later, and because we're only like 10 minutes away. Well, we spent the night last night in Hastings, Ontario, on the lock wall, and that is a big, long wall. Everybody said, oh, there's lots of room, there's lots of room. There is lots of room. They said there's room for 8 boats there, our size, but I bet there's room for more than that. It was a big distance. We walked to the grocery store. It's a small grocery store, but we walked to the grocery store, and so a lot of stuff is right there. It's not a big area, but it was a lot of things that were close by. So we decided we're going to Petersboro today, and we have to go across Rice Lake, and so we decided to leave early. So we were off the wall at 6 o'clock, which to me is really early. but it's a beautiful morning, and we keep saying it's this far north. You know, it feels like it. You know, it looks outside like it's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's just bright sunshine and blue sky, and I'm looking at the moon, but it's pretty.
Well, it's a lovely morning here on the Trent-Severn Waterway. We're about, I'd say we're about 60 miles along the waterway from Trenton And I'm beginning to see how this is all put together. There's like a series of lakes that are connected by locks and little channels and rivers, and you just make your way along. There's some little towns, nothing major at all, and some little villages that are very nice. You see one over there. And some places there's a lot of vacation homes. I would think they were like lake houses. Doesn't seem to be anybody there during the week, and on the weekends they're there. And a few fishermen. But it is, as you can see, very beautiful. That's Riker and No Agenda up above it, up in front of us there, and we sort of travel. They travel a little faster than us in idle, and so I'll let them get a mile or so ahead, then I'll speed up, catch up with them. It's about 240 miles long on this whole trip, so I'm figuring we're going to use about 80 gallons of diesel fuel for the whole trip. I don't know that there's many places to get diesel along here, but we shouldn't need to get fuel till we get to Georgian Bay. And it is just fishing paradise, I think. Look at all these little islands, drop-offs, rocks in the water, lots of structure for the fish. Although I haven't been able to catch very many. And we were at breakfast the other morning, and there was a big table of guys who'd been fishing sitting near us, and I could hear them talking, and they were saying that the fishing has been horrible. That one guy was showing the only fish he's caught all week. So maybe it's not just me. But we move fast, and we haven't really spent much time anchored out. It's very relaxing out here. It's a cool morning, which is good because it was hot yesterday. And it's just very tranquil traveling. We all have no complaints.
So we just turned off of the Lake Rice Lake, and into the canal that takes you into Petersboro. We're still about 2.5 hours from Petersboro, but it's a very pretty river. I think this is this is a river that goes into Petersboro. It's very pretty. We are still on the Onabee River, approaching Petersboro, and this is just a beautiful river. There's some Canadian ducks over there swimming around. The scenery here is gorgeous.
Here we are at Lock 20, Ashburnham. This is in Peterborough. Here's the lock. Going towards Peterborough. And this is us, where we're going to spend the night and go through this lock in the morning. It is very nice here.
So we left the Ashburn Lock that morning, and just probably a mile down the road, down the canal, was the Petersburg Lift Lock. And this was one of the highlights of the trip, I think. There's two of these lift locks, and this is the first one we're going through. And I know I was nervous going in, but you know, when am I not nervous? But you tie up on bars that are horizontal instead of the vertical cables that we've been tying up to.
Yeah, there's two like big basins that you drive into, and then they seal the basin up and lift it up, so there's no turbulence as the water fills it, because so you just can tie your boat up to the side just like you would a dock.
And it was big enough for 6 boats, I think.
Yeah.
We had 3 on either side.
And it was a big, massive structure built a long time ago. So, you know,
It's impressive that how
100
old it
years
is.
ago, something like that. And it just lifts up this huge. And what it uses is counterweights. So the basin that's above you on the upper level on the other side is full of water, and they add a little bit of extra water over there and make it heavier, and then as it goes down it lifts up that side. So it's pretty, it uses very little power.
Yeah, it was a very impressive structure, and it was kind of fun. I liked it. We are inside the lift lock, all tied up.
Good morning, visitors, and welcome to the Peterborough Lift Lock. One of Parks Canada's National Historic Sites. We will be conducting a transfer momentarily. Thank you.
Oh, we're moving. We're moving up, and the other basin is moving down. We are just tied to a rail that goes horizontal. There's no turbulence, and Jody's on a ride. Woo!
Miracle.
Yes?
Miracle. Got Dave and Meg. They locked through with you the other day. Meg's actually running the lock. You're in really good hands.
Thank you.
Hey, Miracle. This is Circle Lily.
Hey, Circle Lily. An escape. A couple of days before, we spent the day going through locks with Circle Lily, and they were traveling with the boat Escape as well. And whenever you're in these locks with people, one after another, you end up talking and chatting. And so when we were going through the lift lock, we somehow got separated. And when we were going through the lift lock, Circle Lily happened to be doing a tour of the lift lock, and they saw that we were there. And that's how that happened. It just by happenstance. All right, so there's us. Here we are exiting the lift lock. And we are elevated. we are definitely elevated. Look at that. Well, we spent 2 nights at Lakefield on the wall, on the lock wall there, and it was a good place. They have electric, they have like shore power, And it's about a 10 to 15 minute walk into the town. Maybe not even that long. We had grocery shopping and some restaurants. I had read that it was kind of touristy, but it wasn't as touristy as I was hoping. But it was a nice stop. It was a nice stop. I don't think we got any video of that, but Chris goes, it was a lock wall. It looks like all the other lock walls. I said, okay. So we left this morning at 7:30, and we're trying to make it to, we can make it to Lovesick. We're making it to Lovesick today, which is one of the, I think it's the third lock that we'll come to. The problem is Lovesick is pretty popular, and so we're not positive we'll have a place on the wall, but that's the goal. That's what we're shooting for. It's supposed to be very pretty, and it's an island. So the lock is on an island, and it's secluded and pretty is what we've been told. So we're headed to our first lock, and it is I think about 50 minutes away, 50. So we left at 7:30. We're gonna stay on the blue line until we can lock through. Hopefully we're the first ones there. We don't know. You never can tell. We're at our first lock of the day at Young's Point, and we got here about 40 minutes before they open. So we tied off to the wall, and I went walking in the little park area here, and they've got a bridge, and there's lots of fishing here. Lots of people fishing here. There's our boat over there. There's Miracle. And then there's another boat coming in. Our wall's pretty filled up, waiting for the lock to open. And then there's a walkway over the dam too. This has a cute little park feeling to it. So the landscape is starting to change. Very rocky here now. We just went through this little lake, and there were little rock outcroppings everywhere. Super narrow channel, look at that. So they have these little houses, or they have houses on these little rock islands. Because that's a big house. Very cool. Well, when we got to Lovesick, it was full. And so as we were locking through, one of our subscribers came over to talk to me. And I believe her name is Tina. So hi, Tina. And she was telling us that Buckhorn was the one to go towards. She also told us about a lot of anchorages, but we didn't get to do that. So thank you, Tina. And so we ended up at Buckhorn, but that's for next week. So Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the like button and leave us your comments. We'd love to get comments. So join us next week as we go from Buckhorn on as we're heading towards the Georgian Bay.